Once upon a time, in the heart of the lush green lands of Igbo, nestled in the embrace of rolling hills and sprawling forests, there lay the prosperous kingdom of Umudike. Known for its fertile lands, brave warriors, and wise elders, Umudike was ruled by a benevolent king named Eze-Anozi. The people revered him for his fairness and kindness, and he was blessed with a handsome son, Prince Chimaobi. Prince Chimaobi was the pride of Umudike. Tall and strong, with the agility of a leopard and the wisdom of the elders, he was beloved by all. He was destined to take over the throne and lead the people with the same grace and wisdom as his father. Yet, despite his princely duties, Chimaobi had a restless spirit. He often ventured into the vast forests surrounding Umudike, seeking solace in the wilderness. The forests of Umudike were known to be enchanted, home to numerous spirits and mystical creatures. The elders often warned the young ones to tread carefully and respect the spirits that resided there. Chimaobi, with his adventurous spirit, always heeded these warnings but could not resist the call of the wild. One fateful day, during one of his solitary excursions, Chimaobi came across an old woman who appeared to be in distress. She was hunched over, her face hidden by a tattered hood, and she was struggling to gather firewood. Ever the kind-hearted prince, Chimaobi immediately rushed to her aid. He gathered the firewood and offered to carry it to her home. The old woman, who was none other than the evil sorceress Adaku in disguise, thanked him profusely. She led him deeper into the forest, to a secluded hut hidden away from prying eyes. Once inside, Adaku revealed her true form. She was a powerful sorceress, with eyes that gleamed with malice and a heart full of vengeance against the royal family of Umudike.
You have shown kindness, young prince, but kindness will not save you from the fate that awaits. Your family has wronged me, and now you will pay the price.
Adaku hissed, her voice dripping with spite. Before Chimaobi could react, Adaku uttered an incantation in a language he did not understand. A blinding light enveloped him, and when it faded, the prince found himself transformed into a mighty lion. Roaring in anguish, he realized the gravity of his situation. He was trapped in the body of a beast, with no means to communicate or return to his former self. Adaku cackled with glee at the sight of the magnificent lion.
You shall roam these forests forever, prince. Only the love of a pure-hearted maiden can break this spell, and such purity is rare in this world.
With that, she vanished into the shadows, leaving Chimaobi to his tragic fate. The lion prince wandered the forest, his heart heavy with sorrow. He yearned to return to his family, to his people, but all he could do was roar in frustration. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, but the cause held strong. Back in the kingdom, King Eze-Anozi and Queen Ineka were distraught over the disappearance of their son. They sent search parties far and wide, but no one could find any trace of Chimaobi. The people of Umudike mourned their lost prince, and the kingdom fell into deep sorrow. Unbeknownst to them, Chimaobi watched over his kingdom from the shadows of the forest. He protected the villagers from wild animals and other dangers, his princely instincts guiding him even in his beastly form. The people began to speak of a mysterious lion that guarded the forest, unaware that their guardian was none other than their beloved prince. The tale of the cursed prince and the evil sorceress spread throughout the land, becoming a legend among the people. They spoke of the prince's bravery and kindness, and some even believed that one day, he would return to them. And so, the kingdom of Umudike continued to thrive, with the hope that their prince would one day be restored to his rightful place. Little did they know that the key to breaking the curse lay in the hands of a pure-hearted maiden, whose arrival would change the fate of Umudike forever. Adaku, the sorceress who had caused Prince Chimaobi, was a figure shrouded in mystery and fear. Her origins were known to few, but her power and malevolence were legendary. She had been wronged by the royal family of Umudike many years ago, and her heart had grown cold and vengeful. Adaku's bitterness stemmed from a past full of pain and betrayal. Once a respected healer in a neighboring kingdom, she had fallen in love with a prince who had promised her marriage. However, he had broken his promise, choosing to marry another for political gain. Heartbroken and humiliated, Adaku had fled to the forest, where she immersed herself in the dark arts. Over time, her sorrow turned into a thirst for vengeance, and she swore to make the royal families of the land suffer as she had. Her powers grew as she delved deeper into sorcery, learning to manipulate the elements and summon spirits. Adaku became feared by all who knew of her, and her reputation as a malevolent witch spread far and wide. Her hatred for royalty was boundless, and when she learned of Prince Chimaobi, she saw an opportunity to exact her revenge on the house of Umudike. As Adaku continued her dark deeds, she remained hidden in her forest lair, watching the kingdom from afar. She reveled in the despair that had befallen the royal family and the uncertainty that loomed over Umudike. Yet, even in her malevolence, she could not completely sever her connection to humanity. There were moments when she remembered the love she had once felt and the healer she had once been, but those moments were fleeting, quickly consumed by her overwhelming desire for revenge. Meanwhile, the forest, under Adaku's influence, grew more treacherous. Strange occurrences became commonplace. Airy howls filled the night air, and travelers who ventured too far into the woods often did not return. The villagers spoke in harsh tones of the sorceries and the cursed prince. Their fear mingled with a sense of helplessness. Despite the danger, life in Umudike went on. The people continued to farm, trade, and celebrate their traditions. They held festivals to honor the gods, seeking their protection and guidance. The annual New Yam Festival, a time of thanksgiving and renewal, was approaching. It was a time for the community to come together, celebrate their harvest, and honor their ancestors. This year, however, there was an undercurrent of sadness, as the memory of their missing prince weighed heavily on everyone's hearts. In the palace, King Eze Anozi and Queen Ineka clung to hope. They performed rituals and consulted with seers, desperately seeking any sign of their son. They never gave up the search, sending scouts and warriors into the forest regularly, but each returned without news of Chimaobi, deepening their despair. The New Yam Festival brought a temporary respite from their sorrow. The kingdom adorned itself with vibrant decorations, and the air was filled with the aroma of freshly prepared yam dishes. Music and dance filled the streets, and for a moment, the people allowed themselves to forget their worries. But even amid the celebration, the absence of Prince Chimaobi was keenly felt. Amidst the revelry, a young maiden named Amaka stood out. She was known throughout Umudike for her beauty, kindness, and pure heart. Amaka was the daughter of a humble farmer, and she spent her days helping her family and caring for the needy. Her generosity and compassion had earned her the love and respect of the entire community. As the festival continued, Amaka noticed the sadness in the eyes of the king and queen. Her heart ached for them, and she silently prayed for the return of their son. Little did she know that she would soon play a crucial role in breaking the curse that bound Prince Chimaobi. As night fell, the villagers gathered around a large bonfire, sharing stories and songs. The elders recounted tales of heroism and wisdom, reminding the people of their rich heritage and the strength of their ancestors. Amaka listened intently, feeling a deep connection to the stories of old. As the days turned into weeks, Amaka couldn't shake off the feeling that she was meant to do something more. Her dreams were filled with visions of the forest and the lion, and she felt an inexplicable pull towards the heart of the woods. She confided in her parents, who, though worried, encouraged her to follow her heart. Driven by an inner conviction, Amaka set out on a journey into the forest. She was determined to uncover the truth behind the legends and, if possible, help restore Prince Chimaobi to his rightful place. Amaka, with her heart full of resolve and courage, embarked on her journey into the enigmatic forest that bordered Umudike. She carried a small satchel with provisions, a walking stick carved by her father, and a cloth bundle filled with medicinal herbs her mother had given her for protection. She was aware of the dangers that lurked in the forest, but her determination to uncover the truth behind the cause that had befallen Prince Chimaobi propelled her forward. The forest was dense and teeming with life. The canopy overhead filtered the sunlight into a mosaic of green and gold, and the air was filled with the sounds of chirping birds, rustling leaves, and the distant calls of animals. Amaka walked with purpose, her senses alert to every sound and movement. She had grown up hearing tales of the spirits and mystical creatures that inhabited these woods, and she offered silent prayers to the gods for protection and guidance. As she ventured deeper, the forest seemed to grow darker and more foreboding. Strange shadows flitted between the trees, and she occasionally heard airy whispers carried on the wind. Yet, she pressed on, her resolve unwavering. After several hours of walking, she came across a small clearing with a crystal-clear stream running through it. She knelt by the water, cupped her hands, and drank deeply, feeling refreshed and invigorated. Suddenly, Amaka heard a soft rustling behind her. She turned to see an old woman approaching, her face partially obscured by a hood. The woman moved with a graceful, almost ethereal quality, and her eyes shone with an otherworldly light. Amaka felt a mix of curiosity and weariness as the woman drew near.
Greetings, young one. What brings you to these parts of the forest?
The old woman said, her voice soft and melodic. Amaka hesitated for a moment before responding.
I seek the truth about the cursed prince and the mysterious lion that guards our kingdom. I feel a calling to help, but I do not know where to begin.
The old woman studied her intently, a hint of a smile playing on her lips.
Your heart is pure, and your intentions noble. I am Umudike, a guardian of this forest. I have watched over these lands for many years, and I know of the cause that binds the prince. The path you seek is fraught with peril, but it is also a path of great importance.
Amaka felt a surge of hope.
Can you help me find a way to break the curse?
Umudike nodded slowly.
The curse was cast by the sorceress Adako, whose heart is filled with bitterness and revenge. To break the curse, you must confront her and prove that love and purity can overcome hatred and darkness. It will not be easy, but I sense a great strength within you.
Umudike then gave Amaka a small pouch filled with shimmering dust.
This is enchanted dust from the heart of the forest. It will protect you from Adaku's dark magic, but only for a short time. Use it wisely.
Amaka thanked Umudike and continued her journey, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that finding Adaku and breaking the curse would be a formidable challenge, but she was determined to succeed. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she kept a watchful eye on her surroundings, alert to any signs of danger. The forest seemed to grow even darker and more oppressive as she approached the heart of Adaku's domain. Strange, twisted trees loomed overhead, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness, and Amaka felt a chill run down her spine. She knew she was close. After what felt like hours of navigating the treacherous terrain, Amaka finally reached a clearing. In the center stood a dilapidated hut, shrouded in shadows. She could feel the dark energy emanating from within, and she knew that this was Adaku's lair. Taking a deep breath, she steeled herself for the confrontation ahead. Amaka stepped forward, her heart pounding in her chest. She had come this far, and there was no turning back now. She approached the hut, her steps cautious but resolute. As she reached the doorway, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Adaku, her eyes gleaming with malevolence and her expression one of contempt.
So, you have come to challenge me. Do you truly believe that you, a mere mortal, can break the curse I have cast?
Adaku sneered. Amaka met her gaze with unwavering determination.
I believe that love and purity can overcome even the darkest of curses. I will not let you destroy our kingdom with your bitterness and hatred.
Adaku's laughter echoed through the clearing, but there was a hint of uncertainty in her eyes.
Very well then, let us see if your resolve is as strong as you claim.
With a flick of her wrist, Adaku summoned a swell of dark energy, and the air crackled with malevolent power. Amaka instinctively reached into her pouch and threw a handful of the enchanted dust into the air. The shimmering particles formed a protective barrier around her, deflecting Adaku's attack. The sorceress hissed in frustration, but Amaka stood her ground.
Your dark magic cannot harm me as long as I have the strength of my convictions. I will find a way to break this curse and you will not stop me.
Adaku's expression hardened and she unleashed another wave of dark energy. But Amaka, protected by the enchanted dust and driven by her determination, deflected the attack once more. The sorceress's power seemed to wane with each failed attempt, and Amaka could sense that Adaku was growing weaker. Realizing that brute force alone would not defeat Adaku, Amaka decided to appeal to the sorceress's buried humanity.
Adaku, I know you were once a healer, a woman of great compassion and wisdom. You let your pain and betrayal turn you into this, but it doesn't have to be this way. You can choose to let go of your hatred and find redemption.
For a moment, Adaku's expression softened, and a flicker of her former self seemed to shine through. But the sorceress quickly shook it off, her face hardening once more.
You know nothing of my pain. You cannot understand what it feels like to be betrayed and cast aside.
She spat. Amaka took a step closer, her voice gentle but firm.
I may not know your pain, but I do know that holding onto it will only destroy you. Letting go of your hatred is the only way to find peace. Please, for the sake of Prince Chimaobi and for yourself and this cause.
Adaku's eyes filled with a mix of rage and sorrow. She raised her hand to unleash another attack but hesitated. The internal struggle was evident on her face, and Amaka held her breath, hoping that her words had reached the sorceress's heart. After what felt like an eternity, Adaku lowered her hand, her shoulders slumping in defeat.
You may be right, but I do not know how to undo what I have done.
She whispered, her voice trembling. Amaka stepped forward, her heart filled with compassion.
Together, we can find a way. It is never too late to make things right.
The sorceress nodded slowly, tears welling up in her eyes.
I will try. For too long, I have been consumed by darkness. Perhaps it is time to seek the light once more,
she said softly. With that, Adaku led Amaka into her hut where they would begin the process of breaking the curse and restoring Prince Chimaobi to his true form. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Don't miss out on part 2 where we will dive even deeper into how Amaka strives to turn the prince to his humanity. Stay tuned and click the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when it drops.